Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you with me again. So today I am going to be reviewing season 4 episode 3 of Greenleaf, and the title of the episode is called Visions and Dreams. So we got a lot to talk about. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so y'all know how I like to unpack the episode. I like to go character by character. So I'm going to start with Lady Mae and the Bishop and what's going on with them. So Lady Mae has a dream that she is in a museum and she hears screaming. So she follows the guard to where the screaming is coming from, and when they approach the area from where people were screaming, it's a picture of Christ, and the picture is split in half, or it has been cut down the middle. And next to the picture is Bishop James, and in his hand is a knife, and there's blood on the blade. So Bishop looks up from his hand, and he looks at Lady Mae in the dream and says, "I'm sorry." So then Lady Mae wakes up from the dream. So after she has this dream, she goes to Bishop and she's like, "You know what, I had a dream last night." She tells him what the dream was, and she's like, "I think that was a sign saying that you need to apologize to everyone for what took place at Calvary while we were in the position of power, or while Calvary was in the Greenleaf name." So Bishop is like, "Listen, honey, sweetheart, my lady, I understand that your dream might have startled you, but don't forget that I am a man of God. So if God wants to talk to me directly, he's going to talk to me. So keep your dreams to yourself." So Lady Mae's just like, "You know what, whatever." So come to find out, towards the middle of the episode, we find out that the dream that Lady Mae had was actually for her and not for Bishop. Let me tell you why. So, Lady Mae and the Bishop go to meet Misty Williams. And the reason why they meet with Misty Williams, so Misty Williams is a former member of Calvary, and she is now a member of Harmony and Hope. So she was a part of the group of people that voted the Greenleafs out. So the reason why the Bishop and Lady Mae went to visit Misty is because initially Grace was supposed to be with Misty or meet with Misty for an intervention for Misty's daughter Denise, who has relapsed on drugs. So before the intervention, Misty wanted to just touch and agree with Grace, just so, you know, they go in there with a positive mindset, and so that Misty is not worried or anything like that. So unfortunately, Grace is out of the office taking care of some personal family matters that not even her family knows, or Phil for that matter. Because Grace is not there to meet with Misty, Phil steps in and he says to Misty, "You know what, I'll meet with you, I'll be there to support you." So Corinne, Bishop and Lady Mae's former assistant, who is now Gigi, Phil, and Bob's assistant at Harmony and Hope in Calvary, realized that there's something wrong. So Corinne calls Lady Mae and she's like, "This is what's happening." So she tells Lady Mae that Phil is stepping in and meeting with Misty. So Lady Mae and Bishop think on their toes, and they're like, "You know what, we can't have Phil come in between whatever's going on, because we kind of need Misty to understand that we still care about her. We still want Calvary. We're still interested in everyone who's invested their time at Calvary." So Lady Mae and the Bishop go to meet Misty. So Misty is very standoffish, and she's like, "You know what, I don't feel like talking about it. Phil said that he's going to take care of it. He's going to support me. So I'm sorry that Corinne called you and startled you or made you feel like this was important, or made you feel like, you know, you had to step in, but Phil got this." So Lady Mae is just still not convinced. So she's like, "You know what, Bishop, leave the two of us alone. You can take the car keys, go circle around the block, make yourself busy, but, you know, I'm going to sit here and talk to Misty so that we can, you know, have a little girl chat." that was not a smart idea. However, so Misty's like, you know what? Okay, cool. So they finally, Misty and Lady Mae sit down and have a conversation. And Misty is just like, you know what, Mae? Let me just cut to the chase and save you and I both the embarrassment. The reason why I voted against you and the bishop still taking over Calvary or being in the position to have Calvary under the Greenleaf name is not because of Bishop or anything else, but it's because of you. Myself and other members of the deacons board and whatever board they have at Greenleaf, we just find it hard to believe that you knew nothing about what Mac was doing to these young girls and how he was using the scholarship money to pay off the girls so that they would keep quiet. So Lady Mae is shocked, like, the nerve of you to think that I would have something to do with something like that. Like, I had no idea about it. So Misty is just like, well, Lady Mae, you might say that you don't know it, you didn't know anything about it, but it's hard for us to believe. So now what's making me think, and I'm sure Lady Mae is thinking this too, is this why Connie is acting the way she's acting towards Lady Mae? Like, do you really think that I knew about what Mac was doing to these girls? Let alone, don't forget, for those of you who have not watched the other seasons of Greenleaf, Lady Mae's daughter Faith committed suicide and was one of Mac's victims. Now Mac is Lady Mae's brother, which makes him Faith's uncle. So Lady Mae is just trying to figure out, okay, I don't understand why you would think that I would have something to do with it. But now that she sees that the congregation or some of the members of the board believe that she has something to do with it, she's like, no wonder why, you know, you're acting that way towards me, because if I were you and I looked at me as a monster, that the monster you think I am, I would stray away or not want to be around you either. So Lady Mae is just going through this conflict within herself, and she's like second guessing herself, like, I know I didn't know, but maybe I did know. Did I not know? I don't know. So she finally tells the bishop what's going on, and Bishop is just like, no, you did not know, so don't try to convince yourself of something that you didn't know about. Don't do that. So now this kind of just opens up some wounds that were never healed in regards to Faith's death, and it just kind of makes Lady Mae aware of the fact that she hasn't really healed from her daughter's death, and now might be a good time to start revisiting things or to really take the time to grieve. So we're gonna get back into Lady Mae and her feelings about Faith being gone a little bit later in the video. So now let's talk about Karissa, Jacob, and Zora. We're going to talk about that household. So, moving along. So Karissa is still trying to get Jacob to sell the land that he bought, where his old church, the land that his old church was on. So I guess Karissa found a buyer who was willing to spend more money than Jacob had originally spent. So she's like, Jacob, this is a perfect opportunity. We're not going to get another opportunity like this, so let's just take advantage of it. So Jacob is just really like, okay, I'll think about it. So he and the bishop have a conversation, and they have like a man-to-man talk about what's going on in Jacob's life and in his household. So he tells the bishop that Karissa wants to move out and all of this stuff, and Bishop is just like, well, you just moved back home. And then Jacob's like, yeah, Dad, I know, and plus we don't have any cash, and we don't have anything. So I do kind of want to stay here so we can get on our feet. But Karissa is just so in a rush to leave. And Bishop just basically tells Jacob that he doesn't think that has anything really to do with buying the land or with getting a house. It's just more so about how Karissa is feeling. Like, after the whole Tasha stuff and all of the mess that Jacob has done to Karissa in the past, Karissa just wants to feel like she is a priority. So Bishop just lets Jacob know, listen, you just need to shower her with love. You need to let her know that you love her, you care for her, and she is your number one. So Jacob goes to Karissa and he does exactly what the bishop advises him to do. And he's just like, you know what, Karissa, I love you so much. You are my number one. And from now on, I'm going to make you a priority. However, I do not want to sell the land. I just don't. And I'm not ready to move into a house. So y'all know Karissa is fed up at this point. And she's just like, well, it's a piece of land and I'm your wife. So what's it going to be? So then there's this awkward silence, and then Jacob's phone rings, and I believe it's Lady Mae who has asked him to meet her in the family room. So that conversation has not continued, and I'm pretty sure that we will get back into it in episode 4. So moving along. So let's talk about Zora, aka Moneybags, as Dante, Jacob's mentee, the basketball player, refers to her as. So Zora finally gets the opportunity to meet Dante when he visits H&H Calvary. When he visits Calvary, aka H&H, and it's not what she expected it to be. So when Dante comes to see Jacob, he brings his girlfriend. And y'all, this is not just like some little puppy love, like, oh, he's bringing his girlfriend, she's tagging along. But this is a girl that Dante, you can tell he really likes, and he speaks highly of her, and he flaunts her around, which is something that Zora did not have in her past relationship with her abusive boyfriend. So when Zora sees Dante just treating his girlfriend the way he is, Zora kind of gets a little bit jealous, and I think she starts to feel like, man, I really wish that I had someone like that, you know, someone who cares about me like that, someone who just gives me a compliment. So Dante, his girlfriend, and Zora have a seat, and they wait for Jacob to come out and talk to Dante, which he eventually does. So Dante and Jacob eventually go off, and Zora and Dante's girlfriend is sitting, you know, at a table, just chit-chatting. So the conversation comes up of Zora living in the cabin that's on the Greenleaf estate. So Dante's girlfriend's like, oh, okay, well, let's go there. And Zora's just like, well, you're not gonna tell Dante? And the girlfriend's like, no, he'll figure it out. He'll catch up. Let's just go. So the girls go to Zora's cabin. And while they are there, Zora teaches Dante's girlfriend about laying and slaying her edges. And the girlfriend is just so in awe with how much information Zora knows about hair and makeup. And she's just like, girl, you are a boss. You need to, you know, act like a boss. Like, girl, kind of giving off, like, you know, the vibes, like, not that she wishes that she was Zora, but like, you know, you're cool. Like, you shouldn't be down, or like your energy shouldn't be low, or you shouldn't have low self-esteem about yourself because you have so much going for you. And if you were to have a class on like makeup tutorials, hair tutorials, or just like, you know, doing your edges or whatever the case is, I would go. So Dante's girlfriend is pretty much just letting Zora know how much of a boss she is, and how much she kind of, almost like she admires her style, admires the fact that she knows so much about hair and makeup and all of those things. So the two girls start to talk about Zora and her current state of happiness, whether or not she is happy, and her past relationship as well. So Zora just explains that, you know, she's getting to that kind of happiness, but we can tell that Zora still needs validation, which is why I think she was so eager to meet with Dante in the first place, just because she's young and her past relationship just didn't work out, and she just wants to feel love, and she wants to feel like the boss that Dante's girlfriend says she is. So I don't know about y'all, and I might be reaching, so comment below and let me know if you saw the same thing. But it seems like Dante's girlfriend was getting very touchy-feely with Zora seconds before Dante came into the cabin and found the girlfriend and Zora there. And he's like, you know, because obviously the girlfriend didn't tell Dante where she was going, so when he found it, he's like, oh, this is where you are. So she was kind of touchy-feely. I don't know what that's about, but I guess we're going to see what happens in episode 4. So let's stay tuned for that. So we've got to talk about Charity, of course. So Charity, once again, I'm sure all of us are at the point where she's just getting on all of our nerves. So backstory before I even get there. Remember how in my last video, in the last episode, Charity asked Grace to put in a word with Phil to see if she could resume her role as Minister of Music at Calvary, aka H&H. So Phil approved, and we know why Phil approved, because Charity is spying for him. So now Charity is resuming her role as the Minister of Music. So her and Carlton, and if you remember Carlton from last season, he also is the Minister of Music. He works with Charity and, creating songs and playing music and getting notes and different things like that. So Carlton and Charity work close together. So Carlton and Charity are listening to this H&H welcome song that all of the H&H churches have to sing. But the gag is that this song has no soul. In fact, it was written by no one other than Bob's daughter, Miss Judy Whitmore. And Charity, if I haven't agreed with Charity on anything in this entire season thus far and last season, I agree with her in the fact that this H&H song is just not it, and Calvary does not need it. I mean, you can't have a bunch of soulful people up there singing something so bland. So Charity, for once, I agree with you, and I support your I don't know if you want to call it protest against the song, but I support you, sister. Anyhow, so Charity's just like, I am not singing that. So at this point Charity is smelling herself. So she writes Judy Whitmore an email basically saying, I'm not singing that, and you need to switch up the words, because the way one part of the song sounds is almost like, it just sounds a little bit inappropriate. It's just something I don't want to sing. So I don't think that we're gonna do that. So Charity does that. So then I guess Judy must have contacted Phil. So Phil walks in on Charity and he asks her if she did indeed send that email. So Charity's like, yes, I did. So Phil is trying to go off on Charity. But then Charity's like, hold your brakes. Hold on, Phil. Before you start trying to go in on me, don't forget who I am to you. Don't forget I'm supposed to be your eyes and ears of the Greenleaf household. So before you try to come for me, you might want to remember that. And while you're at it, let me just inform you that Grace is in Phoenix. So Phil's like, Grace is where? And Charity's like, yep, she's in Phoenix. And I don't know why, but there you go. There's your tea for today. So Charity's messy, selling out her own sister, and she gets me upset and she gets me mad. And once again, Charity, besides the whole H&H welcome song, you really tried it. Because only if you knew what Grace was going through, you still probably wouldn't even care. But you trying it. So that's your girl Charity. So now, let's get into Gigi's life and the tea of what's going on between her and AJ. So, as I mentioned before, Gigi is not at Harmony and Hope or at Calvary. She is in Phoenix helping her son find an apartment and trying to build a relationship with AJ. So again, no one knows that this is what she's doing besides her. So she goes to visit AJ, and I think it's called let me get the right wording, a work release center. So I believe it's kind of like a halfway house. So she goes to meet AJ at the center, and AJ is not thrilled to see her. So AJ's like, I thought the deal was just for you to give me some money and that was it. So when Gigi finally comes face to face with AJ, naturally she gets emotional. But AJ is not here for it. And he's just like, listen, you don't have the right to be emotional at this point. If anybody's gonna be emotional, it should be me. And you don't have the right to be emotional at this point, because it's not like I didn't try to reach out to you before and you completely ignored me, and or even if you didn't ignore me, you just didn't help me at that time. So now you're trying to come in my life because you feel guilty about what has happened or the situation that I'm in. So he's just like, you know what, I just wanted the money. That was the deal. The deal was for you to give me the money. You did not have to bring yourself over here. So people at the front desk, staff of the center, I'm gonna need y'all to not let this woman back in tomorrow or whenever she decides to come back. She's out. Don't put her on my guest list. I don't want her back here. So Gigi, being the determined mother that she is, trying to win her son, she shows back up the next day. So this time when she shows up, she's just like, you know what, AJ, give me a chance to just explain myself. So AJ gives Gigi a moment, gives Gigi an ear, and she just tells him, you know, I just couldn't picture life with myself, you, and Sophia. I don't know. I really just don't know what to tell you. So then AJ asks Gigi if what she did before, if she feels like she made the right move as far as giving him up. And Gigi replied and said, I don't know. So Gigi tells AJ that she just wants to be there for him while she is there now. And she's like, you know what? I know you want me out of your hair. I will be on a flight back home. But before I leave, I want to at least help you find a place. So Gigi and AJ go on an adventure looking for homes. So they find a home that AJ likes. And Gigi, of course, is going to co-sign on it because AJ's not able to get the apartment or the house in his name. So Gigi learns that she is not able to co-sign on the apartment or the house for AJ because AJ is a felon. So obviously this just makes AJ feel really bad about his situation, and then it also makes Gigi feel bad because she really wanted to help her son, and unfortunately she's not able to. So AJ and Gigi have a heart-to-heart, and he confides in his mother and tells her about his life before he went to prison. So basically, I'm not sure if he was living on the streets or in the shelter, but it just seems like his home life was just not situated. It was just not secure. So AJ knew that there was a family that was traveling or was not home for a couple of days. So he broke into the family's home because he was hungry. And when he got into the family's home and found food, he just describes their home as just cool and quiet, and he felt safe. So because he was so comfortable in these people's house, he eventually fell asleep, and when they came home, they found him in their house. So they called the police. AJ was taken to jail, and that's why he did a 5-year bid. So Grace, feeling sorry for AJ, she assures him that she promises him that she is not going back home until she helps him find a place that is quiet, cool, and safe. However, Lady Mae calls Grace, and as we know, Lady Mae is already upset because of the conversation she had with Misty. So she's just like, you know what, I'm over everything. Grace needs to come home. So she calls Grace up and she's like, Grace, I don't know what you're doing in Phoenix. I don't care what you're doing out there. I need you back home. You were supposed to meet with Misty. You forgot all about it. And now Phil is stepping in to take your place. Listen, we don't have time to be slacking because we barely have power. We barely have any say-so right now. And the more you pull back, the further we are away from getting our church back. So you need to come back home, take care of your responsibility, and put Phil in his place. So y'all already know when Lady Mae calls, everyone does what she says to do. That is mother. So, unfortunately for AJ, Grace lets him know that she has to go home and take care of some business, but she will leave him some money for a couple of days, and then she'll come back down. So AJ is fed up, and he's like, you know what? And before I even get into his reaction to it, I will say that prior to Grace mentioning that she had to leave and go back home, it seemed like AJ was becoming a little bit comfortable with Grace. And I guess he found a place that he liked and wanted her to see so that they could see if she could co-sign on it or whatever the case is. And once Grace told him that she wasn't able to stay anymore, he was just like, you know what? I don't know why I trusted you. I don't know why I thought this would change. You don't even need to come back. I don't need your help anymore. I don't know why I even reached out to you and asked you for help. From this point forward, I don't need you anymore. And kind of what a lot of kids do when their parents are going through something, or when their parents just make a mistake, the kids always blame themselves. So AJ's like, you know what? I'm sorry that I even exist, because I'm in your way. I'm, taking you away from your home and what you really love. I'm sorry that I had to come in between that, shake your whole world up. You know what? I don't even want your help anymore. So Grace feels so bad, but she's on that plane headed back home to Lady Mae and to Harmony of Hope and Calvary, because she has things to do. So when Gigi returns home to her family, everyone is pretty much in the family room. They're looking at pictures of, when they were kids, and they're setting up a projector so that they can look at pictures on a widescreen and sit as a family and just do something nice for once with each other without fighting and bickering, arguing. So this is obviously Lady Mae's idea, because as we've seen before, Lady Mae is just really upset about what Misty told her, and then because of what the conversation she had with Misty is just making her think about Faith and the fact that she's still not done healing from Faith's passing. So the family is sitting in the living room, in the family room, and as they are looking at these pictures, the first picture that pops up on the projector is a picture of Faith. So as you can imagine, everyone seems like they have not completely healed from Faith's passing, so the emotions are rising. You can tell in everyone's face. So the episode ends with Phil making a phone call to get more information on Gigi's whereabouts, and he asked the person on the other line if Gigi has made a visit to Bob, and I guess the person says no. So we're going to see what happens in episode 4 with Phil knowing that Gigi went to Phoenix but not on business, and it wasn't business related, and it's all Charity's fault. Oh, and how can I forget, before the family actually started looking at these pictures, you know what Charity did? Charity gonna have the nerve to say to Gigi, have you seen Bob? And Gigi's like, no, why would I go see Bob? So Charity gives the face like, Charity is so shady, and she's so messy, and she's gets on my nerves. But anyway, moving forward. So then after the family views pictures and things of that sort, and it's time to call it a night, Gigi goes upstairs to her room. She makes a phone call to AJ, and she tells AJ that she wants him to come home. So y'all know what that means, right? That means that AJ is officially about to come into the Greenleaf household, I think. And everyone's going to find out that Gigi has a son. So, we have to see what happens. We have to see how this plays out, how people are going to react to it. This is going to be very interesting. So, thank you guys for watching my review. As you know, I will be back again next week to talk more about Greenleaf. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, give me a thumbs up, turn on your notifications so that you can be the first person to know when I post a video. Don't forget to tell a friend, 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 to subscribe to my channel so that we can talk more about Greenleaf. And don't forget, I have different segments to my channel. So I don't only give reviews, but if you watch my channel and you stay tuned, you will see some of the other things that I have going on this channel. So, thank you guys again for rocking with your girl. I will see you next time.